Good morning, good afternoon, good day. I'm Carolyn Mahoney, president here at Lincoln University, and I'm delighted to welcome you to my show, From the President's Desk. You will recall that this is the show where we take the opportunity to bring you up to date on various activities and programs here at Lincoln University. I'm joined today with three very special guests that I'll actually ask them to introduce themselves, and then we'll tell you why they're here. Dr. Harris.
Thank you. My name is Ann Harris, and I currently serve as Interim Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost here at Lincoln University. I have a one-year appointment, and I have been at the university for approximately 22 years. Prior to that appointment, I served as Dean of the College of Arts and Letters.
Dr. Sturdevant.
Hi, I'm Ruthi Sturdevant. I'm Dean of the College of Behavioral and Technological Sciences and currently serving as Interim Dean of the College of Arts and Letters. I have been at Lincoln University for a long time. I'm a proud graduate of the class of 1975, and I returned in 1980 as an instructor of mathematics.
Okay.
Well, I'm Gloria Enloe, and I am the station manager here at JCTV, and I have been here in my position 3.5 years, but I previously worked at the radio station KJLU, and of course I'm a Lincoln graduate, and so I've been here better part of a decade.
Well, that's terrific. And now I hope that each of you can notice that the background here today is different if you've seen this show before. And actually, that's what this show is about today. We'd like to have these young ladies explain to you what happened, what the transformation is about, and how we hope that this will enhance your enjoyment of the programming here on JCTV. We'll start with Ms. Enloe, who is the station manager. For obvious reasons, she probably knows the most about this.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Mahoney. We built this set this year. Last summer, we underwent some renovations in our studio, and actually we went down to a dirt floor and no walls.
Oh,
we
my.
rebuilt from the ground up. But that meant that everything we had in our studio, including our old sets, had to be dismantled and removed. And the old set was, it was going to be hard to put back together. It was an older set, it was a little bit outdated. And so we decided, why not, when we get back into our studio, just build a brand new set? Well, that usually costs a lot of money, takes a lot of time. But luckily, the instructor at Nichols Career Center, Mike Schaefer, has a building trades class. And he called us and said, I'm looking for a project for my class to do. It's going to be in the winter, so we'd like to do something inside where it's a little bit warmer. And I said, well, we have a warm, heated studio and plenty of work to do, so if you have the staff, we'll provide the direction for them. So he brought his students in, and he actually had two classes. He had a morning class and an afternoon class. And he asked us what we wanted, so we did a little bit of research online, looked at other sets, decided what we wanted, and showed him what, in an ideal world, we would want, and he said that wouldn't be a problem at all. So we sat down and figured out the materials that we would need, and in 2 separate shifts over the course of several months, we had students coming in here, working, hammering, sawing, and they created this beautiful set for us.
This is a beautiful, beautiful set, so they did a terrific job. I think the viewers would want to know that Nichols Career Center is affiliated with Jefferson City High School.
Yes, that's correct. They're actually on the same campus. Many people know the high school is just across the street from Nichols Career Center. However, Nichols Career Center is its own entity, and a lot of times they have adult students that work there too, as well as high schoolers. And then, of course, they bus in students from other area high schools so that they can all take part in this curriculum, because it's a great program to have. It really prepares students for working when they graduate. And not every school can offer it, so they kind of partner with different area schools.
That's terrific, and we're just delighted at this partnership with Nichols Career Center and in the big picture, partnering with other various entities in the Jefferson City community. But I don't want to distract us from talking about how this set was constructed. I mean, there are so many interesting features that can be discussed. Can we impose on you to talk about some of the more interesting ones?
Sure. Well, the main background was just a drywall that was put up. We had metal braces that we had to put up, and then they drywalled it. And when we decided on the color blue, we of course wanted the set to reflect the Lincoln spirit. So we thought, well, we have to use blue. And also blue is just great for television. And so that's what we did there. And we wanted to have the Lincoln picture, obviously, in the main background. And Misty Young provided that picture for us. It was a gorgeous picture of the campus.
I think so, too.
And Young Hall. And you have the Soldiers Memorial in there, which I'm sure many people are familiar with, even though it's somewhat new to the Lincoln campus. And so that was great. And what's really neat about that picture is that it's interchangeable. So that if someone else wanted to use this set, like the mayor of Jefferson City has proposed doing a show from this set, and he would bring in a picture that is either the seal of the city of Jefferson or maybe a shot of the Capitol, pretty much anything you could put back there. And we liked that. We liked the steel look of the columns. So we wanted something that was a little bit more modern and but kind of timeless at the same time. So we found some material that we could wrap the columns in to give it that steel look. But yet we still thought it needed something else. It was a little bit plain. And so we actually talked to a graphic designer that we work with quite frequently. She redesigned our logo and has done some other work for us. And we asked her if she had any ideas. And so she came up with the look that you see here with the plexiglass, the colored plexiglass, and the gray wall with the holes in it. And it gives it a little bit of dimension and kind of breaks up the background a little bit. And we really liked what she came up with.
It's very simple, and yet it makes a very, very nice statement.
I think so.
It's a great job she did.
Yeah. And then we had new desks too, and the students helped build these desks. And that actually took quite a bit of time. You don't realize all the steps that go into it, but I mean, they had to do everything from cutting the wood to measuring it out, and then they had to overlay it with the covering and everything, and it was a lot of work, but they did a great job.
It looks like they did a very fantastic job. I like the various geometric shapes and the circular columns. All of that appeals, I think, very much to a mathematician, but hopefully to others, to other people as well. This is just really first rate, and the chairs are comfortable. I could sit here forever and ask questions. And so you segued very nicely into my next question is, so I have this show, but you mentioned the mayor talked about his desire to come and have his show, and he would like a different backdrop. Talk a little bit about the relationship of the television station to the city.
Well, obviously, JCTV and the city work very closely together, and Lincoln University and the city work very closely together, and JCTV is kind of the perfect example of that partnership because we are Lincoln University employees. All the employees that work here are Lincoln employees, and we obviously are housed on campus, and the university pays for many of our costs, including the renovation that we did. But the city actually funds all that through a grant to Lincoln University. And the city gets that grant because they get a franchise fee from Mediacom, the cable company, to operate here. So they take a portion of that and they give it as a grant to Lincoln University to operate the access channel. And whereas most cable access channels are strictly public access channels, we are actually 3 channels in one. We're the public access channel, which means we serve Jefferson City and the surrounding area. But we're also an educational access channel, which means that we are a channel for educational entities like Lincoln University, but also Jefferson City High School and the entire JCPS system. And then we're a government access channel too, and that's why we broadcast the city council meetings, the planning and zoning meetings, and have a lot of city government programming like the mayor's show.
Wow, very interesting. I heard you talk about the renovations. I was very pleased to sit, and I'm very pleased to sit here, and I'm able to look around, unlike the viewers. But talk about other renovations that have taken place here in regard to the studio in connection with the television station.
Well, in the past 2 years, we have done a lot of changing. I don't think that people that worked here perhaps in the past or went to school here several years ago would recognize the place if they came back. This was a renovated gym, and for many years it served its purpose, but we wanted something that was a little bit more modern looking, more studio television looking. And we had our design and construction team come in and evaluate some of our needs, and they decided that they wanted to replace the floor in here. And so now we have a concrete floor, and they put an overlay over it, so it's very nice looking, but also very sturdy. It serves its purpose. But to put in a floor, you have to take everything out. You have to take the roof off. You have to take the walls down. I mean, basically, you came in here. It was a big open space, and there was dirt. And they said, you know, we're going to put back up walls, but where we put those walls is still open to what you would like to do. And so we decided on the best way to utilize the space that we had. We used to have a very big lobby, but it didn't get used very much. So we took some of that lobby space and expanded our offices. We have 4 offices now, whereas before we only had 3. And that was great because we have 4 staff members that work here full time. So everyone could have a space. And also one of the things I always wanted to do was I wanted to have a space where volunteers could come in and work. And so we created an editing bay. And people from the public can come in and use that. Our students can come in and use that when they're working on projects for JCTV. And it gives them a place to work where they're uninterrupted and can just work to their heart's content. So we were really happy with that. We also, you know, obviously put up new paint on the walls, new tile, new carpet, everything like that. So it's just a lot more aesthetically pleasing. And we also installed a lot of new equipment. The City of Jefferson gave us an equipment grant to upgrade some of our existing equipment. And with that, we put in a new camera system at City Hall, which our viewers can't see here, obviously, but if they ever watch the City Council meetings, I'm sure they see that. And the system we put up there is really neat. It's an automatic system, and it's 3 cameras on a wall, and it's operated by one person in the back of a room in a booth, and they have a control system, and they can point the cameras wherever they want the cameras to be and get the shots they want. And it's really a really cool project. And then here we got new cameras, and we also got a new automation system, which is really advanced. It used to be that we had a tape-based system. We'd put tapes in a machine and they would play on a VCR, but now everything is computerized. And so we just download files from our computers, we load them up into the system with a couple clicks of a mouse, and it can be done immediately. We can have stuff on the very, you know, within a few hours if we wanted to. And it really saves us a lot of time, and it makes us keep our programming current and up to date.
Boy, that's terrific, terrific. I'm trying, it's so much to absorb. I wanted to sort of have the viewers understand why we have in academia all of these people here. and so we're delighted that Gloria is the general manager, but as from an academic perspective, from the university perspective, she reports directly to Dr. Sturdevant, who reports directly to the interim vice president, who reports directly to me. And so that's part of the reason why we're all here, assembled here. The main reason we're here is because we're so interested in and supportive of what's happening here at the radio station. But I wanted to give you that heads up or that explanation because when we come back, we'll talk about how the radio station serves the academic program, some of those aspects of this service. I was pleased to hear how we serve the community, a brief explanation of our relationship with the city and other entities out in greater Jefferson City. But we need to also have you understand that this is a tremendous asset to Lincoln University. And so please don't go away. Come back in a moment.
Coming home can be hard if you're a veteran of Iraq or Afghanistan. You may feel like you're all alone. But you're not alone. At iava.org, your fellow vets are all around you. Join our free online community. get the resources you need, and connect to other vets who know where you're coming from. IAVA.org. We've got your back.
Every child is curious.
George, look what I found.
Turn their curiosity into a lifelong love of learning. Create a curious reader.
This is super bedtime reading.
Share a book together today. Visit read.gov.
Well, hello, I'm Carolyn Mahoney. I'm president here at Lincoln University, and you're watching from the President's Desk. This is the show where we take the opportunity to bring you up to date on various happenings at the university. Today, I'm joined by 3 guests and we're talking about the renovations to this beautiful set that we now have here at Lincoln University in the television station. One of my guests is Dr. Harris. She's the Interim Vice President for Academic Affairs, and we're delighted to have her here, and she'd like to impart some information, as is our way.
Thank you, Dr. Mahoney. I just want to echo Gloria Enloe's comments about how successful the renovation was in this building. This is one of our historic campus buildings, one of our older buildings, in fact. It has been repurposed at least twice that I can personally recall. Its original purpose, as we stated earlier, was as the laboratory school. So it now houses the Department of Nursing. A couple of years ago, when I was Dean of the College of Arts and Letters, it housed the Dean's office as well, and it houses classroom space for nursing and art and speech. So we were happy to be able to kind of maintain a high-quality facility in this building, as well as to put it to good use in the television station. I had the opportunity to meet with the steering committee, the JCTV steering committee, several times in the past couple of years. And those who were able to come to the ribbon-cutting ceremony here were just so delighted and so pleased with the result of this new set. The total picture of the renovation, the new floor, it all comes together to make for a very functional workspace, a very modern workspace, and a space that our students can use for their journalistic training as well.
Well, thank you. That's important to know. We know that students are well served when they have an environment that's supportive of their teaching and learning. And so I can only say it again, we're just delighted with this renovation. And Dr. Sturdevant, what can you tell us?
Well, I think that it's very handy that we've been able to remodel and do this wonderful change at the same time that we are trying to revitalize our journalism program. We were fortunate enough to hire a new professor whose expertise is in broadcast journalism, and I believe that Gloria was saying that he actually has taught a class in this very setting. So there is a journalism lab in this building also, so it's really important for the students to get these real life experiences, and will certainly serve them well as they go off into their careers after graduation.
That's terrific. Well, Gloria, tell us about Professor X.
Well, our new professor of journalism, his name is Wyoming Rossett, and he came to us the beginning of this academic year. So he hasn't been here very long, but he hit the ground running.
My goodness.
When he came in, we immediately kind of accosted him and wanted to show him our new facility because we're very proud of it, and also show him everything that he'd be working with. JCTV is primarily an access channel for everyone. We do serve the students, but we serve the community at large too. And then journalism is also kind of its own entity within the university as well. And we did get a grant for the journalism department that was used to buy new cameras for the students here, that bought lights for the studio, because a lot of times the students do use the studio, and those lights are actually lighting this set. And so he had a lot of new stuff to play with when he got here.
This was a federal grant?
Yes,
Terrific.
it was. And also one of the things that we were able to do was create the lab that Dr. Sturdevant was talking about, and that's actually just across the hall from our studio. And there are 25 computers in there, and they all have editing software on them, so students can work on their projects, and several students could be working at once. And one of the really cool features of it is that everything the students have, the teacher has too. So the teacher can be doing something from their space at the front of the classroom. The students can follow directly along on their computers, and it really eases learning, because a lot of times if you'll have 20 students in a class, but only 3 editors for them to work on, they don't all get the hands-on experience that I think they need to really learn what they're doing. But now they all have that ability.
That's incredible. I'm very pleased with the technological innovations that we have, and the initiative you all have taken to seek federal support for this very, very fine work that we do. And so congratulations, but also thank you. Thank you. 20 students, and so how many journalism majors do we have? Does anybody know off the top of their head?
Off the top of my head, I'd say probably about 90.
Oh my goodness, that's a large program.
It's a very popular major. You know, with the 2 new faculty in journalism, we have also a new print journalism faculty member. With those 2 new faculty members, we have more access to quality advising for our current journalism majors. We have quite a few journalism minors as well.
And very fine journalism graduates from Lincoln University, and so that's good opportunity orientation for our students. They can see that with the preparation they receive here, they can go out and do good work in their careers and in their communities. So this is really heartwarming for a president to learn about, that we have such very fine programs, and that we had someone who had the initiative to learn about and take advantage of this innovative renovation so quickly, so that our students will be more excited. I know that as I interact with students at the various orientation programs, or at WOW Week, the week of welcome, when students are first here, I've noticed anecdotally that there's a good number of journalism majors, students who are interested in that as a craft and want to continue to grow that program. I think that's a great opportunity for our students. How long have we had the contract with the city? That was a question I thought about in the first segment, and thought we might want to make that clear as well.
Well, it's been over 20 years. Actually, work started on renovating the studio and making a television station from the ground up in 1988. And actually, we have had 2 people that have been here that whole time, our chief engineer, Dan Yeager, and our chief operator, Art Gerhard. And they really built this station literally from the ground up. And it was a big project for them to undertake, and in less than a year they had the station up and running, which was really an impressive feat. So we've been running programming on JCTV since 1989.
1989, that is a great long time, and I think that as I travel about in the community, I hear those names, Dan Yeager and
Art
Gerhard. So I think I just got fired. Art Gerhard and Dan Yeager's name a lot. They have great credibility and respect and stature in the community, and I concur with you. They've done a very, very fine job of building the reputation of this station out in the community as a service to the community. So we do appreciate their longevity with the university, their commitment to the radio station and to the campus, and indeed to the greater community. Dr. Sturdevant, you look as if you are going to comment.
Well, since I've been here all that time, I mean, I remember the beginning, so I can really see the changes. But I think the thing that's always been most important to me for this television station, besides opportunities for students, but was with the community connection, and how many people in the community have come over and learned how to run the cameras. You come, the first time I was ever on a program for JCTV, people from all over, and good thing they knew what they were doing, because I certainly didn't know what I was doing. But I just felt that community connection has been so important and still is, and I'm very glad you have a place now for the volunteers that, besides just hanging out in the hallway. So that's, it's just a miraculous change, and I think it's wonderful. It's win-win for everybody.
Yes, it is.
Very thoughtful. I agree to have that desk, that private space for them to do whatever they need to do here at the radio station. Well, are there other things we should have our viewers know about from either of you?
I did want to mention briefly that though this set was decorated particularly with the president of the university in mind, since she does one of our most popular shows, we have to confess that Dr. Mahoney is not the first person to use this set. The students in Wyoming Rossett's class have actually used this set for their news program called Blue Tiger View.
Fantastic.
And they were very excited to use it. They were kind of waiting with bated breath the entire time it was being put up, wanting to get in there and be able to use it. And so towards the latter half of the semester, as they normally do, the students have to put an entire news program together. And so they have put 2 programs together, both using the set, and I have to say that it looked really good. The professor has been wonderful in working with us and being present and helping us out and sending students our way. A lot of what we do is because we have students. We have one student, Edgar Vega, who does a lot of work for us, and I have to give him a big pat on the back, because this past Saturday we had our Christmas parade and it was pouring down rain.
Yes, it was.
But he was out there under plastic working with us, and we have had a lot of students come in that aren't even taking the broadcast journalism classes yet, but they said, I talked to my friend who is a journalism major here, and he told me I needed to come see it, and he's like, so what exactly do you do here? And so we tell him, and so now we've got a lot of students that haven't even taken the upper level classes yet, but they're still here and working and learning right along with their with their peers.
That's great preparation, Mr. Vega. I thank you for enduring the weather. But now when he goes out on a job, and a real job, and he has that experience, he will be prepared for it. And I think having the students work here and gain the experience of creating shows and all of that, not only are they exposed as I described and therefore better prepared, but President is always concerned about recruitment, and so they're our best recruiters. That word of mouth about the experiences they have here at Lincoln University will, I think, serve the entire enterprise very, very well. So that's terrific to hear about.
And we also got some more volunteers from this project. Some of the students that worked on the set, now they want to use the set. So they're talking about coming in and learning about TV now.
Good for them.
So that sort of validates a bit, affirms affirms my comments. I had another question, and that is, so as we look to the future, what are there some other aspects of programming that you're thinking about?
Well, what I would really like to do is pursue our online reach even more than it is. We put all of our shows on YouTube right now, and that's youtube.com/JCTV Access. But I would like to increase the number of programs we have on there, and even maybe do some live streaming. So that's something that we're looking at. Just increasing our online presence. We have a Facebook page, but I would really like to expand our web page too, and make that more accessible and make it a true tool to interact with the community. Maybe have message boards, forums, blogs where people can talk back and forth and just learn more about JCTV.
Oh, those are laudable goals. You have my full support and encouragement. And I want to encourage our viewers to join us again. And as per usual, I invite you to come to us with any questions or comments. We're not quite ready with the message board, but we'll look together for that in the future. And I want to thank you for joining us today, and hope that you all have a pleasant time. Thanks again. Bye now.